Hello, everybody. Wow, this has been quite an amazing day. It's quite an amazing journey. I am feeling quite emotional. That's a lot of quites. But I wanted to jump on here real quick to talk to you guys about the launch of my book, The Recovery People Pleaser, which I'm going to show you. Da-da-da-da. It's probably backwards for you guys. Hi, Sharon. I haven't seen you in a long time. And I really am quite blown away at the response that I've had with this book, not only from the amount of purchases that have been made, but the support that I've had from my community. I mean, I swear to God, you guys, it's like I won. I think one of my girlfriend asked me, she said, how does it feel to win the Super Bowl? That's what she said. And I was like, that's what it feels like. I mean, it's a surreal feeling. It's a surreal feeling. And I'm just like, what the bleep happened here? Because I actually made the international bestseller list in 3 countries. 3. I'm not sure exactly what those countries are. I think it's United States, Canada, and the UK. It might be Australia. I'm not sure. But of course, I'm sure it's English speaking because my book isn't in other languages yet. But I'm really quite blown away by this. But the reason for this broadcast is that there is still an opportunity, even though I made international bestseller, which is completely bomb, there's a chance that I can become #1 bestseller in my category based on book purchases that are still made today. So I want to invite anybody who hasn't yet purchased my book, The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaim your true worth and attract the love you deserve. I'm going to read the back to you guys real quick. The Recovering People Pleaser is a wake-up call and must read. The book is going to blow people's minds. That's Heather Eberly, writer and copy editor. And the back copy says, in The Recovering People Pleaser, Kristen Brown masterfully takes the reader on a journey of discovery to identify the root cause of people-pleasing, why the pattern persists, and the miracle cure to break free from it for good. Kristen has a prolific ability to transform complex material into a teaching style that is easy to understand, absorb, and apply. She also includes vulnerable excerpts from her own personal story, I totally do, which adds a brilliant nuance of entertainment, because sometimes they're funny, and I cuss a little bit, just saying, and relatability that promotes the reader to be seen and understood. Discover how to set and maintain healthy boundaries with grace and confidence, stop attracting toxic people who take more than they give, heal hidden shame and unworthiness that keep you stuck, stop losing yourself and start honoring your needs, conquer codependent tendencies and behaviors. And then there's another quote from my friend Howard Falco, who is a spiritual teacher and the author of the book I Am, which is a brilliant read, by the way. And he says, Kristen Brown generously pours her heart and soul and direct experience into this richly filled book of insight on self-empowerment. And I'm going to read the one quote from the top here that says, this is from RT, and she is a law professor. When I started reading The Recovering People Pleaser, I couldn't put it down. It is by far the best material I've read on this topic. So I'm not reading you guys those things for you to, think there's any sort of egoic thing around this. I'm reading it to you in case it appeals to you, and this is something, people pleasing is something that you have dealt with in your life, and you have difficulty setting boundaries, or you have this hidden shame that you've been carrying around, or this sense of unworthiness, or I'm not enoughness, or there's something wrong with me. And by the way, if you have any of those things swirling around inside of you, we all do. And this is why I wrote this book, because I know that people pleasing is a plague on this planet. It's absolutely a plague on this planet. A lot of people think they're the only ones, but it can present in many different ways. And there is also a spectrum of how it presents. So just like, God, my hair is like toast today. Sorry, you guys, but I don't know what's going on here. So you could be just a mild people pleaser, or you could be an over-the-top people pleaser. It doesn't matter because the healing is the same. And shockingly enough, so many of us get programmed in our youth that there's something wrong with us. And I go into detail about how that happens in the book. The beginning of the book, I talk about the what and why of people pleasing. And the second half of the book, I talk about the how to heal it. So there is a lot of information in here, information that will help you to start working on yourself. There's going to be a lot of awarenesses and self-discovery and things like, wow, I didn't know that. And people are already, they grabbed my book already today and they're reading it. And they're already texting me going, oh my God, this is a beautiful read. It's so well written. It's easy to understand. And that's something that I had a lot of people say to me in my life. They're like, you're very articulate with how you present these things and it's very non-threatening. How did you get so good at this? And the truth is, I think I needed to understand it myself. So when I really started to understand these things, then that allowed me to present it in a way that I believe is easy to understand for people who are interested in this. I see so many of my lovelies down here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I can wave at y'all. Wave, 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 wave. Hi, 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 hi. You guys rock. Oh, it's me, Christine. Hi, you guys. You guys are so awesome. I really love you. I will say that I've had kind of a tearful day, and if I talk about it, I'll probably cry. I'm just going to say that, I'm super fucking authentic. So I'm just going to say that the amount of support that has shown up for the launch of my book has been, like, who knew? Do we really know who supports us? Do we really know who loves us? Do we really know who's got our back behind the scenes? I mean, I had people blowing up my text first thing this morning going, book launch day, book launch day. I didn't even know they remembered, right? And everyone's saying, I bought my copy, and I'm reading it already, and, signing it for reviews and doing things like this. And it's just so, I was just having lunch with my husband. He's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, it's just like this, you guys. I'm just like staring into space. Like there's this humble feeling when you realize, thanks, Jessica, that a lot of people have your back. And I didn't used to have this. I didn't have this before my healing journey. And it's just testimony to what can come when we work on our inner world, because I used to attract takers like effing crazy, like one right after the other. And it was in my friendships and it was in my male relationships and it was everywhere in my life except professionally. I will say that. And so many of those people fell out of my life after I started healing myself. And it's not because I turned into an a-hole. And that's something that I want people to understand when you heal your inner world. Because a lot of people are like, oh God, I don't want to get selfish. I'm afraid I'm going to turn selfish. And it just doesn't happen. You become a cleaner, clearer, more authentic version of yourself. But you're someone who loves you, like on this deep level that is undescribable. The only way I can explain it, because again, I had to come up with terms myself to figure out what this felt like. It's not like, oh, I think you're so pretty. It's not like that. It's not that kind of love yourself. It's a fierce respect and protection that you would feel if you, maybe towards a small child, a beloved pet, or maybe an elderly loved one. Think about someone that relies on you and that you love so much that you will do anything possible to make sure that they are safe, that you care that much about their well-being. That's a feeling that this healing work does for you if you accept the mission, because it takes some effort. But you guys will hear me say this all the time, that the healing work isn't hard. It just takes dedication. It just takes dedication, because a lot of people say it's so hard. I hear people, oh, I know it's a lot of hard work. And I'm here to tell you that no place along my journey did I ever think this was hard. Because it's about taking in new information and then applying it to your life. Okay? So if it's hard, I would say that the initial break from the ego, because if we're feeling so ashamed of ourselves and we have difficulty owning our past story and owning the fact that we were the common denominator, that, the ego wants you to blame other people. It wants you to hold on. Oh, no, it's not you. It's not you. It's not them. Let me tell you something. I've had some heinous things happen to me. I've had some behavior that I could tell you guys that would just make you go, oh my God, Kristen, I had no idea. And although I can't control what other people have done, and yes, if people do something crappy to you, sometimes it does require a consequence or a punishment or something like that. I'm not discounting that. But I don't have people like that in my life anymore. My energy just doesn't allow it. My clear seeing, my seeing, the way I see people in the world and the way I sense people in the world now after my healing work, is so, it's so much clearer. It's like, I explain it like this, like someone took a squeegee off, across my muddy windshield. Because I used to see the world through a different lens, but it was a skewed lens, and it was a lens that was hurting me. And when I'm hurting, I'm not the best parent, mother, sister, cousin, aunt, whatever, that I can possibly be, because I'm not showing up in my best and brilliant light. So when we heal ourselves, it's important to know that there's going to be a ripple effect in your world. And it's not just a ripple effect in your experiences, but it's going to be the way other people experience you. So if you think about it, our healing is the best gift we can. I'm going to read that in a second, Sharon. By the way, I miss you. You're so awesome. I miss you. Our kids went to school together and we got to know each other pretty well, and just love her. But there is a ripple effect out in the world that's undescribable. And I've talked to so many people who have done this work, and we all sit there and go, how can we describe this? There's just peace and there's empowerment, but it's natural. It's just when something happens, there's no more of this overthinking and over questioning. And should I say this or should I say that, or calling all the friends and how should I word this? Like, it just starts to flow naturally out of you, and it comes in a very peaceful way. Because we've dropped the need for love, approval, and acceptance from people outside of us. And if you don't think it's there, if you're a people pleaser, it's there. That's the driving force behind all of this, is the need to be liked, the need to be accepted. So we dim our lights and we play small, and we say yes when we mean no. We don't tell people the truth sometimes because we're afraid it's going to hurt their feelings. We're not vulnerable sometimes. There's a lot that goes into this. And we might think that those things are working for us because we don't have, let's say, confrontation in our life. But the truth is that they're just a quick fix. How many times can I do this in my video, you guys? Let's see. It's about 3,000 so far. It's just a quick fix to be a people pleaser, because in my first book, actually, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment, this is my first book, I talk about this, and instant gratification doesn't yield us long-term results. So by being that people pleaser or that doormat, or having an inability to withhold or not maintain healthy boundaries, those type of things, those might be like in the moment, we're going to get a hit inside that we're accepted, that it might fill our worthiness cup for a second, because in that moment it appears we're getting the love, approval, and acceptance. And what happens is that hit, right? I look at it like crack, I'm slapping my arm here. It goes in our worthiness cup and flies out the bottom, because it is not what sustains us over a long period of time. The ego is insatiable beast, and it just keeps wanting more and more and more and more and more. And we continually to adjust ourselves and chameleon and put on masks and do things to get this acceptance, but yet we're actually suffering because of it. Okay? I have a history of attracting cheaters, attracting physically abusive partners, attracting emotionally abusive partners, attracting neglectful partners, these type of things. And if you don't think your energy resonates out into the universe, maybe this is your wake-up call. Because I'm a strong person. I'm accomplished professionally. I knew what was right and what was wrong. Why did I stay with someone who punched me in the face? Why did I stay with someone who strangled me? Because I was afraid. I was afraid what that meant. Right? Why did I stay with people who were emotionally abusive or neglected me? Because I kept thinking I could talk them out of it. Oh, they're just, they just need more of my love. Right? Because we think we can fix everybody. We think and this is why people often say the empaths attract the narcissists. It's not really the empaths that attract the narcissists, it's the people pleasers. Because all empath means is that you pick up energetically on emotions of others. Okay, so it's not that the empath attracts the narcissist. The people pleaser is the overgiver. We're the overgiver, the over-accommodator. We go out of our way to give. But it's important to know that's a little bit shocking, Curtis. It's a little bit shocking that, oh wait, I forgot what I was going to say because Curdy J made me laugh. We overgive. Oh yeah, it's a little bit shocking to understand that our overgiving is us needing love, approval, and acceptance, and we hyper focus on the needs of other people. Okay, that's what people pleasing is. That's what codependency is. And the root cause of that is shame and unworthiness. Well, guess what narcissism is? And overtakers. That is a hyper focus on one's own needs. So if you're someone who hyper focuses on the needs of other people, you're like a key to the lock. I can't use my little hand gestures like I do because I'm holding my phone, but it's like the key to the lock to a narcissist. They want it all about, you make it all about them and they want it all about them. But what we're interested in doing, you guys, is becoming more to the center, which means we don't turn into selfish people. It means we become in that beautiful, gorgeous space that's called interdependence, which means we're not dependent on other people, but we're not hyper independent like a narcissist is. We get right in that little beautiful sweet spot called interdependence, where we learn how to balance the needs of other people with our own needs. Okay? That way we continue to fill our worthiness cup. And when we feel worthy and we feel that shame and that unworthiness that's been plaguing us behind the scenes for a very long time, we're going to naturally, first of all, our energy shifts, and we're going to naturally show up in a way to relationships that if something wonky comes along our path, some sort of disrespect or neglect or whatever, we're willing to speak up for it. But even better, we're going to be willing to walk away rather than to stay in that. And it's that willingness to walk away that you become the self-love warrior. And a person who wants to keep you, who values you, they're going to feel that and they're going to be like, oh, I better up my game a little bit. So your willingness to walk away may become the motivation for that person to look inside and to go, I gotta treat this person better. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes our willingness to step up and maintain our boundaries and to say, this is not okay, but this is what's okay. This is what will work for me. Sometimes people leave. And that's no reflection on your worth. This is one of the hardest things for people pleasers to understand, is that when people do start to leave, that's cause for celebration. As long as you've checked yourself and you know that your behavior is rooted in love of self, all right? Your behavior is rooted in love of self. It is always the correct thing. Because love, whichever way is on here, I don't know, because sometimes it turns it around. Capital L, love, is the absolute highest vibrational frequency ever. Okay? Anything rooted in that is for the highest good of all concerned. Even your person that left. Because whatever they left, you were shining too much light on their cobwebs that they didn't want to know about. Okay? That's still stuck with them. And guess what? They're probably going to hear it again and again and again. And eventually they may break through. Okay? But whether or not they decide to show up and treat you as the rock star human being that you are, whose birthright, literal birthright, is to be treated with the utmost of respect and love, if they're unwilling to do that, I promise you this. When you up-level your energy to one of self-love and you heal those people-pleasing behaviors, you can't help but start to attract people. They're going to meet you at that same vibration, that same level of energy. And this is why when I started this broadcast, I got a little emotional, is because who has come out of the woodwork, it tears me up again, like who has come out of the woodwork for me today, who has stood behind me and blown up my phone, and like, it's not 3 people, you guys. And this is a testimony to the work I've done, and I accept it. I accept it because I love myself and I know I'm worthy. But it's still, it's like kind of this, like my friend Lois said, she's like, how do you feel for winning the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is not the launch of my book. The Super Bowl is the people that have shown up for me. Because I didn't used to have that. because I attracted the takers who did not give a about me winning. So if you've got people in your circle, in your corner, who doesn't want you to win, who doesn't care if you win, who don't support you, that don't be like, you're so rad, I can't wait to see you go. And if you're in a struggle spot, they're not like, I got you. You know, I've said earlier that I've reached international best-selling status in 3 countries. In fact, that happened last night because I woke up this morning and to an email from my publisher, and she sent me the stats, and I really didn't know what that meant. I just kind of looked at it and I was like, oh, what does that mean? I thought that's what we were working on today with the launch. But she's like, no, you have ranked within a certain area in all those countries. And that's because when I started saying, hey, the book is uploaded, it's ready, wait till launch day, they're like, I'm buying it now. I want it now. And their love and support of me, the fact that they see me and want to honor me, is like, I can't even begin to tell you. It's I think I just need to go to bed. And I'll tell you one of the sweetest things, and if I could click out of this and read it to you guys, I would, but I can't. One of my hair clients messaged me, old former hair clients, but I did her hair for years. And she messaged me, and I'm going to have to paraphrase because I can't read it to you, but she said something like, what's even more special to her is that she watched me go through the struggle. We were very close, very close. And she says, what's special is that she watched me go through the struggle. She watched me go through, being homeless, almost being homeless. She watched me going through the abusive relationship. She watched me, me and the family being abandoned. That, she watched all of this and everything else that goes along with that, with, sick parents and moves and, all the things that went along with this. And she said, I don't think you understand how you brought us along on your healing journey. She said, we learned from you while you were learning. Can you hear me? I'm covering my mouth. She said, they learned. You're such an asshole. Look at me. This is how much it means to me, you guys. You can ask my daughter who just joined. I don't cry very often. But she said she learned from the healing journey. And she said, you were so amazing before. She goes, but the 10.0 version of you is wow. And she said, you walk your talk. And I'm just, I'm so proud of you. That's what this book means to me. And you can still help me become a #1 bestseller. So if you haven't purchased the book yet, let me just ruin my mascara here for a minute. If you haven't purchased the book yet, you can do so on Amazon. You can purchase any version that you want, or you can purchase both. Oh, Curdy, thank you. Curdy J from Wisdom. You can purchase either version. All you need to go is Amazon. You type in the search bar, The Recovering People Pleaser. It pops right up. And it's been fascinating to watch it go up through the ranks today. I mean, it's almost 2:00 here in Phoenix. It's a little bit later on the West Coast. It's 5 for you guys? Or East Coast, I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say. So I'm gonna scroll back through because someone had a question. I struggle with the final boundaries. I kept them in place, but it's hard when it is your parents and so very necessary. I don't know if Sharon's still on here, but it is, Sharon. And this is what people need to understand, is that it's not likely that we step outside of our door and go for a walk and have to set boundaries with a rando, right? It's the people we love the most. It's the people we are in the closest relationships with that we have to set these boundaries. But I believe, Sharon, if you're still in here, if yes, oh no, that's your old text. If you are still in here, that you go, I'm sure you've purchased the books, but there's a whole chapter on boundaries on there. And I break that ish down in a way that makes you go, wow, I actually need to set boundaries for that person too. Now, that's not the reason I tell people to set boundaries. It's for your well-being. It's for your personal empowerment, for your self-love. That's what they're really for, but they serve both parties. And I go into this at length in my book, and I really invite you guys to purchase this book today. I already made international bestseller in 3 countries. See, I can't even say this without crying, you guys. It's like, what the bleep? I feel like I'm on the Oscars. I want to shout out to my little girl, Sydney, here, who joined. I don't know if she's still in here, but let me see if she's still in here. She is. She's... Sorry. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. She's been one of my biggest fans my whole life, and she's always stood behind me. And if you know Sydney, you know that she's a cheerleader, just like her mommy. And I get that. I'm sure you are, honey. This is ridiculous, you guys. I'm just letting it happen, though, because it's natural. We've been through a lot, you guys. We've been through a lot, and if you know us, you know that. And we're tight. We got our family tattoo. Follow you, follow me. Thank you, Curdy. It's because you're a love bug, Curdy J. That's why you're tearing up. You got a big, juicy heart. But we follow each other. But Sydney's been, she stood behind me. They all have. But that firstborn baby of mine, who she feels with her whole body, and she supported me. And my whole family has, really, you guys. But I'm going to shout out to Sid here because she's with me. So I also want to shout out to Curdy J. He's on Wisdom, and my dear sister Jessica. And let's see who else. I'm not sure who else is still in here. Sharon's in here. Well, actually, I can click the button. Oh, Curdy J, Jessica, Raven Gasprot drove up. I'm sure that's Adele. And Sydney and Danita Sherwood. Thank you, guys. Danuta. This has been an incredible journey. And whether or not I make #1 best-selling author on Amazon this day has been an absolute ridiculous win to me. Like, I literally don't even know what to do with myself, and I'm sitting here crying on a live stream because that's authentic, but it means that much to me that all of you have stood behind me and rallied. And not only rallied because, oh, let's make Kristen a bestseller, but the excitement is what's blown my hair back. It's the excitement I'm feeling from people. I mean, the exclamation points, the emojis, the it's just like, and people saying, I can't wait to read this book. It's not like, yeah, let's help Kristen buy a $1.99 Kindle. Like, there's so much energy, and I felt this energy the whole time I was writing it. Like, this book is written from my whole heart. It is just my absolute heart and love. Like, and at times I got attached. I will tell you this. At times I got attached to, oh God, is it going to be good? And I got stressed out, and I got worried about how it was going to present to the world. And I would just sit myself down, and I would say to myself, Kristen, just write from your heart, because anything that's written from your heart is purposeful in the world in some way, capacity, shape, form, or another. And if people take away one sentence from this book that has helped them in some way, if one person takes away one sentence, then this book is a win for me. It's an absolute win. All right, you guys, I don't really have anything more to say to you guys, but I will end it with this. I'm looking through the things. You have me tearing up. Curdy J purchased the book. Thank you, Curdy. And afterwards, after you guys read it, I guess another important step is for people to leave Amazon reviews. So I invite you to do that if you're willing, to go onto Amazon and click the 5 stars and leave a review there. If you've already read the book, you can do that now. All of this just helps. And the whole thing, my friend Daryl, who was interviewing me this morning, made it very clear. I'm trying to put my phone up so I can use my hands. He said that the point of promoting books like this and having people leave reviews and buy copies and things like that is that you guys all know the whole algorithm world. We live in the algorithm world, and it starts to generate stuff behind the scenes, which will actually put this book in front of people who could really benefit from it. And I like that, because this isn't about money. This isn't about fame. This is about the desire to help people, which is the whole reason why I started this journey in the first place. Is when I started to heal this stuff inside of me, and I started to notice authentically that I was showing up into the world in like this completely new and improved way. And you don't become an a-hole. I'm going to keep saying that. You actually become softer. My daughter can testify to that. You become softer, and you become more firm because you have your boundaries now. But when I started to see that life could be peaceful and I didn't have to suffer all the time, I just wanted to shout it from the rooftops. I just wanted to tell everybody, me and my friend Christina Holly, who has the Authentic You book, we both talked about that because we had, different stories but similar healing. And we talked about that before on the Wisdom app, that we just want to shout from the rooftop, you don't have to suffer anymore. Like that's what happens, because the gentle heart in me, the person who's always wanted to support other people, didn't go away just because I healed my unworthiness. It actually became more profound. So that's what helped embark me on this first book that I wrote, right? This book took me years because I had to cultivate language. I didn't know how to put into words the things that I was saying. And then here's my second book. It's probably going to be backwards to you guys. This is the one that's out now, The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaim your true worth, capital T, capital W, true worth, and attract the love you deserve. Okay. Now, I went through 75,000 subtitles because, there's so many things I could have said there to show up in the world and empower an individual, to change your energy, to attract better to you, to be able to hold your own in relationships, to stop losing yourself in relationships, to stop attracting toxic and low-vibe people, to stop attracting narcissists. I mean, there's so many titles that this could have, but you only have a certain amount of words, and people say, keep it short, keep it short. So I'm putting on my chapstick. All right, you guys, I am running out of battery, but I just want to say hi to Curdy J, and I believe that's Adele that's here. I don't know, it could be Brian, Sydney, Danuta, and Debs. I really, really appreciate you guys jumping on this. And if you're joining late, you might want to listen to it, but be prepared to maybe, if you're one of those people that cry with people, then you're probably going to tear up watching this. So I'm really, really incredibly grateful for all the support I've had. Like, it's beyond me. I don't even know what to do with myself. I still have more promoting to do, and I'll figure it out like I always do. But I just want to say thank you, like from my absolute heart to your heart, to everybody who has supported me now and who will continue to support me in the future. Your love does not go unnoticed, as you can tell. Your support does not go unnoticed, as you can tell. I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate your presence in my world, and I appreciate you being a reflection of my healing work, because I stopped attracting what I call the whack pack. Users, abusers, jerks, narcissists, cheaters. I call them the whack pack. I stopped attracting that. And that was the whole point of why I embarked on this healing journey in the first place, because I call it my tsunami. Most of you know that story already. If you don't, you're going to read it in the book. But I went through this hellish period of time in my life where everything that kept me and my children safe was threatened. To me, that is like, my Achilles heel is threaten my kids, threaten the well-being of my children. I was freaking lost. I was scared. I was bitter. I was afraid. I was anxious. Had a nervous breakdown practically in the middle of the night that you guys will read in the book. And I said, I'm going to figure this out. I had a choice of victimhood, and the blame would have been easy, you guys. It would have been easy for all these past people who did heinous things, okay? But blame would have been easy. Staying in victimhood, because there's nobody in their right mind that would have told me I was wrong. This person did this, and like, that's wrong. That's not okay, yeah. But here's the thing, you guys. When we're in blame, we are not in growth. We are not in healing. We are not in recovery. We are not headed towards victory. So I remember that precise moment, and I'm not sure if it was in a meditation or I was laying in my bed, but for some reason I have this video inside of my head. Thank you for whoever's sending up the love. LOI. I'm the definition of becoming softer. Sydney said yes. Christina and Georgie, so many beautiful souls here. Christina, I gave your book a shout out, by the way. I was talking about how you and I want to stand on the rooftops and, shout it out to the world. And, what was I saying? Oh, I have this visual in my head that is it's so clear to me. Like, I don't know, again, if I was in a meditation, I don't know when I had this thought, but I remember standing, looking over what I called an abyss. So if you think of like this well, like in the ground, like it just goes way down there, you can't see anything. And it had like this little dirt berm around it. This is what the visual looked like. And I looked down in there and it was so alluring and tempting because it was blame and bitterness and there. Okay, hopefully it's still live, you guys. Can someone give me a clap if it's still live or something? But I was looking down in this abyss, and it was the abyss of victimhood. And I remember looking in there, and a voice in my head, which I've now come to know is God, said to me, if you go in there, you may never come out. And it was that moment that I literally stepped away from this thing, and I said, because I'm a cusser, I said, F no. I am nobody's victim. I am no one's victim. And I backed away from that hole, and I never looked back. I'm like, I am going to show these people who thought they could treat me like this, who I really am and what I really deserve. And they say the best revenge is a life well lived. Well, I'm not out here to get revenge to anybody because that's low vibe. But I will tell you that healing myself was the best thing that I ever did for myself. And I continue to. This journey continues. I'm not done. Okay? I did a bulk of that work. But that I expanded it and kept expanding it and expanding it as life went on. And I will tell you something what healing looks like real quick before I time out. If this dies, you guys, my battery's dead and I'm not near a charger, or it's on the red there. But there's not going to be a fanfare. There's not going to be a marching band and balloons and doves, released into the air when you start to heal. It's a very, very slow transformation. And you're just going to notice that you're doing things differently. You're going to notice when, you're going along through life, some stimulus happens to you and you're going to respond differently to it. And you're going to be like, that's new. Because you're used to the old you of acting in a certain way. But when that new you emerges, because you have literally retrained your brain to think in a different way, and your brain's going to go down this path rather than this old path, if you're quiet enough within, you're going to notice that happened. And then you can know that you are starting to heal. Okay, you guys, I am going to dip. I've got to go. My battery's dead. And I just want to say thank you. And to everybody who has already purchased my book, who listened through this whole thing, who's listening on the replay. And you can still purchase my book. Like, it's here to stay forever. If you purchase today, though, within this 24 hours, I guess, you can help move me from a 3-country international bestseller to a #1 bestseller in America. I guess that's the next step. So if you guys haven't purchased my book yet, and this conversation invites you to do that, then you can dip over to Amazon. All you need to type in is the Recovering People Pleaser, and it'll pop up. You can't put links on Instagram, or else I would do that. Maybe I'll do it in the story. I'll share this on my story and I'll throw the link in there for people. So thank you for everybody who is still here listening. I appreciate you. I love you. And until next time, peace, everybody.